Let's welcome Steve Jobs. Hi, Steve, my idol. No matter what color t-shirt you're wearing.
Hey brother, have you forgotten my motto? Always think different, whether in heaven or on earth.
Haha. So lately, ChatGPT is stealing the spotlight, even surpassing the glory of the iPhone. Have you heard about it?
Yes, I have, Tim Cook, the current CEO, has already briefed me.
Ooh, you are well informed, I see. Why do you suppose ChatGPT didn't emerge from a giant company like Apple? After all, Apple was an early pioneer in artificial intelligence products like Siri.
You could pose the same question to Zuckerberg or Larry Page. Their AI products were also introduced quite early. This mirrors the question of why the iPhone didn't spring from the halls of Nokia.
The disease of a large enterprise? Is the ship too big to steer?
That's a somewhat forced explanation. The real root cause lies in not being able to uphold the culture of startups.
However, ChatGPT still has to pay the Apple tax, which can be considered as your legacy.
Well, different business models, different moats.
As a Chinese entrepreneur, I sometimes wonder why ChatGPT wasn't born in China. After all, China's mobile internet is still considered world-class. What's your opinion?
That's hard to answer. Important inventions like high-speed rail and Alipay were not born in Silicon Valley.
Actually, those two are different. One is innovation spurred by national power. The other is disruptive innovation from a startup. Or let me put it this way, why does Silicon Valley seem to more easily give birth to disruptive startups?
Silicon Valley may have two advantages. On the one hand, it's the innovative ecosystem of Silicon Valley. ChatGPT, although a product of OpenAI, is based on the transformer architecture invented by Google. In terms of funding, Microsoft provided significant support. Moreover, universities like Stanford have nurtured many innovative talents. Without the collaboration of these factors at the ecosystem level, it would have been difficult for OpenAI to thrive.
That makes sense.
On the other hand, there's the entrepreneurial culture of Silicon Valley. Culture might sound abstract, but I believe it's a very tangible thing.
Are you referring to the culture of entrepreneurial risk-taking in Silicon Valley?
Yes. Personally, I was greatly influenced by the hippie movement from the 1960s, which made me realize that there are things beyond the trivialities of daily life. Life isn't just about work, family, property, or career. We need to break these conventional notions and rules, just as I once said. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Oh, Steve, even after your passing, you're still changing the world. Your spirit lives on.
Well then.
Speaking of entrepreneurship and innovation, in recent years, China has been encouraging mass entrepreneurship and innovation. It advocates the culture of entrepreneurial risk-taking and has also given rise to many outstanding startups. However, I always feel that something is lacking in these companies compared to Silicon Valley startups.
I'll say cultural attributes.
That's also the direction of my recent research. Chinese entrepreneurs are subtly influenced by Confucian culture, the underlying logic of which is that individual value is established on the basis of social recognition. So, the internal motivation of Chinese people is often about standing out and upholding the family honor. This often gives rise to a comparative mindset, seeing what others are doing, then thinking, I want to do it better. In terms of methodology, it's more about imported ideas and pragmatism, and they tend not to deliberately do innovations that don't yield immediate results.
That sounds insightful.
Whereas Silicon Valley entrepreneurs believe in the liberal worldview of natural rights, the underlying logic is that individual value is based on self-identification. So, the inner drive is more about personal interests and sense of achievement. It's because they don't need to prove it to anyone that they're more likely to follow their inner desires and do what they love, which leads to a higher acceptance of uncertainty and long-termism.
It does sound like two different worldviews and methodologies, but it's not necessarily an east-west difference. It could be a difference between different subcultures.
Well, possibly. And Steve, as far as I know, you're a devout Zen practitioner. Zen itself is Eastern culture. What kind of help has it provided to your entrepreneurship?
Zen culture is more like a fusion of the two cultures you mentioned. The essence of Zen culture is to realize one's true nature and follow one's inner self, to be truly oneself, which is equivalent to changing the world.
Seeking within. The cause of self-identification leads to the effect of social recognition.
All things are inseparable from their own nature.
So for entrepreneurs, discovering their true nature should be paramount.
It seems like you're also a practitioner of Zen meditation.
I attempt to it. Your wisdom is much appreciated, Steve. Let's conclude with one of your enlightening quotes.
Your time is limited, so don't live someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most importantly, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.